Hello loves, welcome back to TigeraGitana. Today we are going to be talking about the first new moon of 2021, and that is going to be the new moon in Capricorn. That's coming on January 13th, 2021. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. Actually, listen, I pulled some cards, the energies, the vibes. Listen, okay, so as always, we're going to start with the planetary positions because I want you guys to know where the energies is going to be, and then we're going to be talking about the aspects. So first is first, sun will be in Capricorn because we're still in Capricorn Sazon. The moon will also be in Capricorn because there's a new moon in Capricorn. Mercury will be in Aquarius. Venus will be in Capricorn. Mars will be in Taurus, okay? Jupiter will be in Aquarius. Saturn will be in Aquarius. Uranus will be in Taurus in retrograde. Neptune will be in Pisces, and Pluto will be in Capricorn. Yeah, there's a lot of Saturnian energy, and actually came up in the reading, and I'm not even surprised that it came up in the reading, but there's a lot of Saturnian energy at play. There's a lot of Aquarian Saturn's energy at play. Like the way like Pinky goes anytime she's like that's how I feel about this chart. But let us talk about it now. Okay, let us talk about the aspects. Let us get into the aspects. But if you can see, there's a whole entire stellium in Capricorn, and there's also a stellium in Aquarius happening on this day, and it's also a new moon, so it's a newness. There is still this kind of, until we get into Aries season, you're not going to really feel that, oh, it's a new year kind of vibe, but there is this kind of new energy, new breath of fresh air. And you guys know I've been talking about this for a while. Anytime the air starts creeping into the chart itself, you start feeling a little bit like you can breathe, because when the chart has a lot of water, a lot of like earth, a lot of fire, and then it lacks air, oh god, it's almost, it can be tense. It can feel like you're not breathing properly, and then all of a sudden the air creeps into the chart, the planets move into an air sign, and then you're just like the breath comes in, the breath comes back in. So first is first, the sun will be in a conjunction with the moon because of course they're both in Capricorn. This is really good as far as like having your ego in alignment with your emotions during this time, especially if you're trying to clear up some kind of baggage. Specifically, I see, and even in the cards came out, one of the things that came out, and I was definitely feeling this, is financial healing. I feel like there's this need to kind of get our shit together, is the way I'm going to say it, especially when it comes to our 10th house energy, which is ruled by Capricorn. And I say this because it deals with career. It deals with our status in the world. It deals with the things that we want to have a good foundation on. We want to have stable. It deals with our life's purpose. It deals with what we're leaving behind. What is our imprint into the world? It deals with all of these things. And so it's a very powerful energy and focus to have when you're just like, okay, well, where is my opportunity? What is it that I personally need to be doing better? How do I contribute better into this everything, into what needs to happen? How do I personally go about doing all of this? And the answer really focuses on healing the things that you know has been an issue for a while now, and that comes from the finances. And that's not just you. Okay, it's not just you, boo. That is everybody. Everybody has a lot of financial issues right now. If you live in the United States, you are most likely, unless you are filthy rich and you don't have any issues to think of, okay? Because even if you are filthy rich and you have your own company, you know, all of these things on that level, to some element, you also have been suffering from this pandemic, from having the people who buy your shit not have money to buy your shit, because then you're losing money as faster than you could spend it, possibly, depending on what's going on in their personal life. And I feel like ultimately financial healing needs to happen on a collective level. January 13th, we're getting inches and inching one day at a time closer to I don't want to call him homeboy because he's definitely not my homeboy, but whatever the hell you want to call him, leaving the office of the presidency. The closer we get to his removal, and also by then we would have known who won the election in Georgia. Okay, and you guys know I can get political in these things because y'all know I'm a Capricorn. Okay, Capricorns rule the government, so I have to focus on the things that affect me, you guys, everybody on a collectively financial level. On like, if you have, it's kind of like having someone that takes money from you every week and then you just not paying attention to them. Like, that's what the government is. The government is constantly taking and taking and taking from you, but what are they giving back to you? How are they helping you? How are they elevating you? How are they supplying you with anything? What are they doing? And so to me, it's really important to pay attention to the state of the world. So when it comes to like the election in Georgia, by January 13th, we would have known like who won and all that jazz. We would have known if Democrats take the Senate, and how that changes things when it comes to taking care of the people. Because I do feel like during Aquarius season, specifically Aquarius season is gonna be that season, okay, the sazon, where we are like, okay, so what are we doing for the collective? Like, the second this dude steps one toe in office, everybody's gonna be like, okay, what are you doing about this? This is a problem with this and that. How are you gonna fix this? People are getting evicted. Like, all of these things are gonna get thrown in his face. I'm pretty sure Biden is very aware of that because he's released different types of like statements for how he wants to handle certain things. But he also agrees with a $2,000 like stimulus check, and they want to do it on a monthly basis from what I have seen before. So until, you know, the pandemic is actually over. So I do feel like there is going to be a little bit of a shift, especially when it comes to finances. However, I want you guys to have a little prerequisite to that energy coming through, because there will be an alleviation that's happening. Don't forget that Jupiter is still in Aquarius. Okay, things will be happening a little bit more quicker than you think. And you will see a little bit more relief coming a lot faster than you think as well. Because Aquarian energy can be really swift. It's an air sign. So things will be coming, you know, faster than usual. However, if you already know that this kind of energy is coming forward, what are you going to do now to help you set yourself up for success, especially when it comes from a goal-oriented standpoint? And this is why the Sun conjunction the Moon is very important during this specific new moon, because Capricorn is a very goal-oriented sign. Okay, we've talked about this many times on the channel before. Capricorn is a very goal-oriented sign. It's all about, you know, what are we achieving? How are we growing? How are we elevating? How am I adding to my life? How am I succeeding? You know, like what are we doing? And so the question then becomes, if you know this is coming, this alleviation is coming, especially on a financial level, where you're just like, you know what, financially, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be able to, you know, resolve X, Y, C, and B, and then I'll, you know, have that there. And this is another reason why Magnify Your Intentions also came through in this reading. And I know that's why. Because if you know you're going to have this alleviation, what are you going to do with it? What do you plan to do with it? If you have some extra cash in your hands, or if you have some extra kind of like that relief, what are you going to do with it? Especially if you have any extra to put towards certain things that you want to do, or certain things that you want to practice, or how you want to elevate yourself. 2020 was definitely the year where we all, okay, and if you didn't, I'm judging, okay, I'm judging you. We all should have been very reflective on our goals and what we want to do with our lives. What is our life's purpose? What are we doing? How are we adding to ourselves? How are we pushing ourselves to be our best selves? What is it that we need to do? How do I learn something that at the same time helps me give to others? Like, what are we achieving there? And so with those intentions that we already have, once you have this financial healing, you can fuel those intentions with your finances, which is what I think is coming up really, really hard, especially from the reading, because I do feel like, listen, this whole reading, I'm going to pull up the cards towards the end, but this reading is like very like in your face. But there's this need to talk about and be in alignment with the direction that you're going to once you have this alleviation. I know that there's some of my friends that are moving to a different like area altogether. Like, they're going to use that money. And I know one of my friends is actually moving to Hawaii. She was there for like 3 months in quarantine. She just ended up, she was like, I'm buying a flight. And she just stayed over there. And now she came back. She's selling some of her stuff and then she's leaving. The stimulus is only going to help her solidify herself, ground herself in the place that she wants to be in. So then so the question then becomes like, if you have this extra, monetary fund for you to fuel certain things. Because again, don't forget that the reason why they call it a stimulus is because it's supposed to stimuli, however you want to say it, stimulize the economy. That's what they expect you to do. They're giving you money so you can spend it somewhere. That's literally it. And yes, for a lot of people, it's like, no, I have to pay rent, I have to pay bills, I have this and that, this is going to get taken from me. Yes, 100%. But somebody else is getting that money. It's supposed to stimulate something, okay? So be in alignment, especially with the sun conjunction the moon. Use that Capricorn energy. Again, this is root chakra energy. It's a root chakra moon, y'all, in a root chakra season, because that's what Capricorn season is. So be in alignment. Ground yourself with your intentions of what it is that you actually want and how are you going to fund them, especially knowing that relief is coming in that way. Okay, make sure you are thinking about it. Make sure you're like actually sitting down with, what your goals are, what your directions are, and what you want to do ultimately. Okay. The next one that we have to talk about is Sun conjunction with Pluto. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, so this is kind of like, I feel like it's a fun one because it definitely speaks to a lot of different things. Pluto, which is also in Capricorn right now, you have this kind of alignment with your sun, your ego, being transformed, okay, through this Plutonian energy. However, there is this kind of alignment in the way that if especially if you've been feeling a shift happening within your values, within your life, within what you feel like you need to do, how you feel like you need to grow, there is this kind of supporting alignment there for you to transform, for you to evolve. Your ego, your life, who you think you are, and what you're supposed to become. So there's just like this beautiful like evolution. It's like there's this ego butterfly evolution happening. That's the way I see it. But it's like at your core, where you have been the most, especially in your root chakra, where you have been the most like grounded in the space, especially, and this has to do with homes too. Like if you've been kind of pushing out, like moving because maybe your mom used to have this apartment and you kind of maybe you should keep it, all this stuff, and you've lived there for so long, but now you should be in a different place, and there's another land calling you, another space calling you for you to be productive and grow. Like it's too stagnant for you to stay there. It's that same feeling here where that sun conjuncting Pluto, just having this kind of beautiful connection to Pluto in a way that's just like, no, this is okay. It's okay for us to evolve now. It's okay for us to leave this nest. It's okay for us to take a moment. It's okay for us to pull back. It's okay. It's totally okay for us to really reel it back in. And I think that this specific aspect it feels really supportive, but at the same time, some people might have a little bit of a hard time with it, especially if you happen to be on the stubborn side, or if you have like a lot of fixed sign energy. But however, it's all about allowing Plutonian energy to actually do what it needs to do in your life. So don't hide away from what it is that you need to do, especially because you're already emotionally gonna be feeling like you need to do it because the sun conjuncting the moon. Your ego is gonna be like emotionally supported by your choices, by what you feel like is correct, by why your intuition is telling you, hey, you know what, it's time to move on, it's time to go into the next thing, it's time to take a chance. And that Plutonian energy is there to support you and to say, hey, you know what, it's time for a whole transformation. It's time to leave this behind. It's time to stop being anxious. It's time to not allow ourselves to be miserable, or it's time to stop sulking. It's time to, we've been doing this whole woe is me for a while. It's time to do something about it now. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. And so it's time. That's what I'm going to say. It's time. The moon is also in a conjunction with Pluto. So you're also emotionally, there is kind of like this kind of trifecta, where it's just like emotionally, ego-wise, as far as solar plexus, your energies, what you're doing, how you're moving, you're gonna be feeling that like alignment of just like, oh my God, I need to do this. I need to do this. And because we have this energy of death there with Pluto, bringing in all this change, all this transformation, because we have the energy of death there, it brings out a whole different vibe at the end of it. And this is honestly another reason why the World card came out in the reading. This is the last card. You guys know this is Saturn. You know this is Saturn. You know this is Saturn. And I feel like there's this just, with all of the Capricorn energy in the chart already, there's just this like beautiful moment of alignment where you feel like you can be in a better place. So you're going to let yourself be in a better place. Whether that has to do with your finances or whatever's been bringing you a lot of anxiety, you can literally just sit on that moment, like what has been stressing me out, and just watch the relief come from that. Because I do feel like there is just like this conclusion, this ending, and this relief. And this goes for like if you've been feeling like you're stuck in a job and you want to move on to better things and to other things, and your spirit is calling you to do other things, allow yourself to do that, knowing that you'll be supported regardless of the fact. Because I think that's one of the things that freaks people out. They forget that they are supported, that they 1000% can be supported by spirit, that spirit is there to support our growth. And it's all about that, just allowing for that evolution to happen. And I do feel like on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, we will 1000% be feeling that during this new moon. There is this kind of new energy to this new moon, as there should be. But there is this newness. There's this like ending, and there's just like this burst. That's the way I'm seeing it. So we also have Mercury squaring Mars. Mercury which will be in Aquarius, and Mars, which is in Taurus. Okay, so two fixed signs, energy fighting. So 1000%, as I always say, please watch your words. But at the same time, I do feel like the way that you need to address this specific energy, because they're both in fixed signs, is to be mindful of what one is trying to teach the other. Mercury in Aquarius is very forward thinking, is very futuristic, is very evolution like focused, because it's such a it's specifically such a mindful sign. It's an air sign. Mars being in Taurus can be a little bit frustrating, because Tauruses can be really comfortable where they are. You have to piss off Taurus to move, or trigger Taurus to move in certain directions, because it's kind of like pissing off the bull. It's the same thing. And so when you have Mercury, it's like fighting Mars in this way, there's just like this fight of thought, like the words are what matters. So if you get told on or around this new moon, like, oh, this is why you can't leave this, or this is why this is happening to you, you put yourself there and all this stuff, like you getting a lot of sass, you gonna snap at somebody's gonna hear some words hear some words from your mouth, from the throat chakra space, and there is this still, like, because of all of the earth that is very deep rooted in this chart, let me tell you, okay, very deep rooted in this chart, there is still kind of this not wanting to change what you're already comfortable with. That's like the basis and foundation for Taurus energy, because they're very stubborn. They're very like fixed in their ways. They like to kind of go about doing the same stuff over and over again. They don't mind that at all. And so when you have this push for all this evolution, this Plutonian energy, this Aquarian energy in the chart, where it's just like, let's think wider, let's think bigger, let's think, what are the possibilities? What is wrong with the behavior that you've been doing? What could you have been doing 10 times better this whole entire time? Like, let's just analyze all of your mistakes, and you're just like, you know what, I did what I did, and no regrets, hashtag no regrets, you know what I mean? But still, there's just still this energy there of like allowing yourself to hear those messages, those words that are being spoken. How you're getting triggered matters, because it's gonna cause you to make different choices. And even though the Mars in Taurus energy is very like, it can be very stubborn in their ways. Don't forget Uranus is still in Taurus, okay? There is still a lot of like resolving issues that need to be addressed with our lives, within the chart, within the energy of our, like within everything that's happening. There's still a lot of like that pent up energy that's happening there. There's a lot of friction that's happening, and it's because Uranus is not playing around with Taurus energy, and it's still in retrograde. So there's still past behaviors that is breaking down. And so when you have words being a trigger in this way, don't, you know, allow yourself to get irritated or pissed off. Actually sit with yourself and analyze, because at the end of the day, that's what that energy wants you to do. Mercury wants you to actually receive the message, not sit here and respond with anger or get, you know, your horns out and start attacking somebody because they said something to you. No, actually sit down. Why was what they said triggering? Why did it hurt? How do you feel about it? What do you feel like it addresses specifically within your life? It's all about maintaining that clarity and not, you know, not thinking that you're right all the time, because that's not true. That's not a reality. But allowing yourself to evolve through the different ways that truth comes out to all of us. And so that's what I'm really seeing with Mercury squaring Mars. But Mercury is also squaring Uranus, because of course. And again, there is just this evolution through the mind that is happening. And I do feel like because our ego at least will be in a place where we are kind of focusing on this evolution, the messages that we get through this specific square will be very much life-changing. I do feel like through this time, the things that we have felt very much comfortable in will become questions for us, where we're actually sitting down and asking ourselves like, hey, is this good? Is this something that I should be personally doing? Like, is this like a good behavior for me? Like, do I need to continue to do this for myself? Like, I don't feel like this has brought me, like, put me in a good space. Like, what is going on? Like, it's a time for that self-evaluation where you're just really analyzing any of those past habits that have just been with you for so long that you just be like, oh, but that's just me. Okay, but that's just you. You could still evolve though, because if you're using all of those kind of negative habits to keep yourself in a specific stalemate kind of state, then you're not growing, you're not elevating, you're not becoming anything, you're not thriving. Okay, and so understand that all of this is for your own personal growth, and allow the downloads that come, because Mercury is going to be doing ham to deliver these downloads, and that includes triggering you in a way where it could be an argument, but it got you mad for a reason. So analyze that instead of getting mad. Analyze the meaning before you start, you know, getting mad about X, Y, C, and B, and D, and all this stuff. Like, actually sit down with yourself and analyze. Venus will be in a trine with Mars. Venus will also be in a trine with Uranus. Venus, which is in Capricorn. So there is this beautiful, I feel like, especially when Venus is in a trine with Mars, there's just like this beautiful energy of aligning passions. However, because Venus is in Capricorn, the way Capricorns feel pleasure is different than the way everybody else does. It's more earthy, it's more grounded, it's more practical as well. And so because Mars is in this kind of Taurus energy, there is this kind of need to sit down within our pleasures and still allow ourselves to have moments of pleasure. So please make sure that during this new moon, you are still trying to nurture your feelings, nurture your emotions, take care of yourself as far as like pleasure goes, as far as your sacral chakra goes, as far as like doing things that you like to do, how you like to treat yourself, how you know that you love to be taken care of, because Mars is in Taurus, and Taurus has this pleasure energy as well as Venus does. And so you want to make sure that you're doing things for yourself, and so treat yourself in whatever way that you feel like you definitely want to be treated. And this can be shopping. This can be, you know, just taking a day to yourself. This can be like your partner giving you a massage, or this could be like you doing some yoga. It literally it completely depends on what it is that you particularly want to do, but it's really important for you to take pause and have those reflections, so you're evolving and not remaining stagnant or not feeling any pleasure from the day, because there is all this like transformative energy, like a little bit of a igniting energy, a little bit of that, you know, like friction energy. So you want to make sure you pause and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do the things that I love. I'm gonna take an hour to paint on this day. That's gonna be my ritual for the day. I'm going to paint. I'm going to just sit down with myself, or I'm just going to write, or I'm just going to maybe even do some money magic. This specific trine is really good to do some money spell work, to call in money, draw in money, and to also set, again, magnify your intentions. Sit with your intentions, especially if they have anything to do with your finances, especially when it comes to that. This is also a really good time to do any type of root chakra meditations, because of their both of these signs are both very earthy and grounded. Venus is also on a trine with Uranus, and this really questions, like, okay, you want to try, like, as far as trying something different, how you can receive pleasure. This is where the questions lie. How can you get more pleasure out of your day, out of your time, out of your space, out of your practice? How can you find more pleasure in them? And how can you allow yourself to evolve with your own things that you like to do on a day-to-day? So try to kind of try to be more open in the way that you're seeing things with this particular new moon energy, because I do feel like there's just like this need to be more sensual, find your pleasure, really tap in, but also try to also enjoy things in a different way, or find new things to enjoy, especially if you know that you're interested in one topic and one topic leads to the next. Like, actually dive into those spaces. Don't like limit yourself with how you can receive pleasure on a day-to-day. Mars will also be in a square with Jupiter, and Mars will also be in a square with Saturn, okay? And this right here, listen. And this is why Saturn's over here like, did you end the cycle yet? We're gonna go over the cards. Give me a second. So Mars squaring Jupiter, Mars squaring Saturn. This specific square can cause like really like over exaggerated reactions to different kind of moments, different things, kind of lashing out in a very exaggerated way, having like being like a fueled by passion kind of moment. Like, I feel like this can be a little bit excessive, depending on how you're working with the energy itself. The good thing about this specific aspect is that it can actually help you if you're someone who is creative, or somebody that wants to work on a specific thing, or someone who's trying to direct their passions to a specific space, but lacks focus or lacks any type of like, you know, patience with themselves or anything like that. Like, I feel like this is that aspect that if you actually allow yourself to work with it, you can grow, you can heal, you can be more than just stuck in your ways. You can actually allow yourself to expand your passions versus kind of sulk in your, you know, your regular routine type of thing. Because Mars, again, is in Taurus is a fixed sign, and Jupiter is in Aquarius. It's the question is, how can you evolve through your passions? How can your passions be upgraded? Like, think about how the things that you love doing, the things that you like to work on, the things that you like to spend your time whatever doing, how they can be upgraded. Think about that. Like, take a moment to be like, okay, you know what, I could have been doing this and that, but I haven't been doing that, and you know what, this would actually be better. Let me see if I can do what I love in this way. It's almost like trying to do a recipe and adding like a little twist to it to see how you would enjoy it, how you would like it, and how you would take to it. And I feel like if you allow yourself to get a little bit creative during, especially with this aspects, you will find yourself surprised. You will find yourself very surprised. There's also this kind of passion for money, obviously, and again, I feel like the finances are a really, really big focus for this particular new moon because of all this Capricorn energy, because Taurus energy is being aspected in this way, because there's just Tauruses rule that value. It rules money. It rules pleasure. It rules the things that we find useful and meaningful, and that we use every single day. And so the practicality of money is not, doesn't go over my head. I definitely feel like if you allow yourself to, especially if you're a creative person, if you allow yourself to find different ways to get money and manifest money into your life, have different streams of income, looking at different ways that you can maintain your own financial abundance and success, then you actually need to do a little bit more research on that, dive into that. Jupiter energy is all about like that knowledge. So find out, look into different ways that you can, if you need to take a workshop or something on that day, or like look at different like money, like how to get XYZ income, how do you start a business. All of these kind of things are really, really good to do on this, or to manifest on this particular new moon. It's great for creating a business, great for this, especially this aspect, great for creating a business, great for trying to monetize what it is that you love to do if you want to share it with the world, all of that kind of stuff. Really, really great time to do so with this particular moon. Mars squaring Saturn definitely kind of gives it, how do I want to put this? Mars squaring Saturn, it's really trying to fight the karma that you're getting from your lack of choices from the beginning. So if you have been kind of allowing the world to be beating on you because you haven't been applying yourself and doing the things that you need to do to set yourself up for success, then you're getting the karma from it. But you're also feeling the circumstances from how the world is feeling as well. There is this kind of worldly energy, and there is this kind of like karmic justice of, if you've been neglecting your passions for a long time, and this is why you're in the position. If you were doing what you were supposed to do, you wouldn't be in this position. So what do you need to do to set yourself up for success is the question. And that's where that kind of fight is happening with Mars and Saturn. It's like, okay, I have been wasting time. And if you admit to yourself that you've been wasting time, you'll be ahead of the game there. But if you don't, then that's when it's just, you're going to feel a lot of internal friction. But again, the way the rest of the planets are relating to each other, you'll still have that support for transformation. So all of the foundations are there for you to basically question yourself enough where you'll have to change, where you have to shift, where you'll have to like elevate into the next thing, which is very beautiful if you allow yourself to do it. I have to say that you have to allow yourself to evolve 1000%. Now, Mars will also be in a conjunction with Uranus, so it will have that support there because obviously they're both in Taurus. So they will be in this alignment where Mars, while it's still like it's in this Taurus energies and this very much money, finances, values, pleasure kind of focus, it can be, again, that stubbornness, that conjunction with Uranus still gives it that edge into changing, into upgrading, into looking at things from a new perspective, a different way, where you can actually see solutions, not more problems on your plate, which is really, really good for this conjunction. Jupiter will be in a conjunction with Saturn, and then Jupiter will be in a conjunction with Saturn. Jupiter will be squaring Uranus, and Saturn will be squaring Uranus, okay? So Jupiter conjunction with Saturn, obviously that's still going to be happening because they're both in Aquarius. So there is this kind of, again, I told you guys this works as a way of Jupiter holding Saturn's hand, but moving Saturn along a lot faster. Because Jupiter just happens to move through the energy a lot faster than Saturn does. Saturn takes years, while Jupiter takes pretty much a whole year to really see some shifts happening. And because they're both in Aquarius, it's a little bit faster. You'll see a lot of resolutions, a lot of different things, find solutions a lot faster throughout the year. And if you wanted something to like budge or move or shift, that's when this conjunction is also gonna help with that. Please make sure you're looking at your own transits for this and what houses these signs fall for you, so that way you know where things are gonna be popping off as well. Jupiter will be squaring Uranus and Saturn will be squaring Uranus, and I'm not really like surprised that this energy will be felt there, because I do feel like Uranus is ultimately trying to trigger this independence, this kind of like, think about you, think about your life, think about like who you are in the world, think about who you are in this generation. What are you doing? What is your voice? How are you going to be known? What is your presence? Like, it's just all about creating enough friction where you actually change. It's enough angst, enough, like, it creates an environment of, wow, I can't keep doing this. It puts you in a position where you have to say that, like, oh my God, I can't keep doing this. This is not helping me. I've been doing this for a while now. It's just not helping me. This is not who I am. I need to stop. That's where you have that shift, that transformation, and everything just goes, okay? So there, and it does bring the focus to your own independence and who you are as a person. So 1000% allow yourself to not be kind of put in a box by your own means, because I don't feel like that is a productive way to live, and it just doesn't help your own spirit to kind of be stuck in that box. Now let's look at the cards. So the cards that came out, first one is the 7 of Wands, 9 of Swords. Then we have the Hangman. Then we have the 6 of Pentacles and the World card. And again, I do feel like there is this reflection that's happening. There's enough angst and pressure that's happening from the planets. That Mars energy coming up hard in the Wands with the 7 of Wands is like throwing enough at you where you're just like, oh my God, I need to shift. This is not, I can't keep doing this. Like, this is a problem. And I do feel like this is what's going to trigger it. You're going to have to take all of this discomfort, all of this kind of like frustration, and channel it into sitting down with yourself and saying, okay, let me get into Capricorn mode. Let me actually think about what I need to do. How do I progress? How do I change this? What are my goals moving forward? Touching in with that Aquarian energy, focusing on the crown, focusing on your head, focusing on how you want to evolve, what you want to see, where you want to be, what status you want to be in as well, how you want the universe to gift to you just as much as you want to gift to it as well. This is that's a double-edged sword right there. Not in a bad way, but how do you want to give to the world? What is your presence in this world? Are you proud of what you're doing? Are you in a place where you are satisfied with your own evolution? And once you have passed that, that's when you learn your lesson. That's when Saturn's like, okay, thank you for using this new moon properly. Because ultimately it's that Capricorn energy. We must allow ourselves to be great. There's nothing wrong with that. So, okay, please allow yourself to learn the lessons that you are still learning. Please allow yourself to heal from all those issues that we're still trying to kind of like shake, especially when it comes to our finances, especially when it comes to these intentions that we have set for ourselves that we want to see ourselves thrive and evolve from. Please allow yourself to be great. Do not allow yourself to kind of stay in the same, because that's not gonna, it's not healthy. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it's just not healthy. The other two cards that we have was lighthearted, laughter, strength, and confidence. And I do feel like with the energies, with the times, there is kind of this need to kind of be a little bit more playful. And this is again touching into that Venus energy for this new moon. Trying to do something that you love, watching a movie, watching a comedy maybe, hanging out with people that you love. Just try to do something where you're still, amongst this change, amongst this transformation, you're still feeling pleasure to some capacity, okay? So that is the new moon in Capricorn. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. Definitely do not forget to check out the Patreon. The link will be down below. And also, if you want to sign up, you can sign up for memberships as well. The join button will be down next to the subscription. Those were just announced. The video would have been posted before this, so you guys could go see it on the channel. Definitely don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out, click the bell so you get notified anytime I upload. And I will definitely see you loves in the next one.